Good morning and good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another Hatch AI in Action webinar. Today, we will be introducing conversational analytics to you and walking you through how you can turn every call into actionable insights for your business. Today, I will be one of your presenters. My name is Katie Eck. I am on the product marketing team here at Hatch, and I will be joined by Brandon Holston, who's a product manager. And Brandon is the lead product manager who is building all the functionality that you're going to see shared live here today. So before we get started to walk through the agenda, we'll spend just a few moments talking about the challenge that many of you are familiar with using AI, the black box challenge. Then we'll go through a brief introduction to conversational analytics, walk you through what we've built, then get into the fun part, which is an in-app demo live with Brandon. You'll have the opportunity during that demo to ask any kind of questions that you want, and he'll answer them for you. And then after that, he's also going to give you a sneak peek into the immediate roadmap and what's coming next with regard to conversational analytics and the functionality that you're going to see here today. So AI helps you, right? It helps us do a lot of things faster and more efficiently. And when it comes to handling calls, AI is wonderful because it can help us convert leads faster. But when you're not converting calls and when you don't really know what's going on with the agent or why calls are being handled the way that they are, it can be really hard to pinpoint why. So some operational inefficiencies or challenges can surface as a result. Lack of KPI visibility. Do you know which calls are coming in that are bookable? Do you know what your bookable-to-booked rate is? Do you know how many of these calls are transferred? So having visibility into these KPIs is really critical. Without that, that can also lead to data and reporting gaps if you don't truly understand the call outcomes. And then just generally workflow inefficiencies. So if you don't have that total visibility into what's happening on these calls, what your customers need, how the agents are responding, then you may not be operating as efficiently as you can. It also brings up other challenges such as, okay, well, now who's going to monitor agent performance? So just like with any other employee, you want to make sure that these agents are performing at the top of their game in the way that you have trained them to. And if they aren't, you need to understand what's going on so that you can improve it. So this is where conversational analytics comes into play because it's bringing that why to light for you. So effective already, every inbound call that's handled by Hatch AI is now automatically being analyzed. Outcomes are being surfaced as a result automatically into key metrics. So what this is letting you do is really now you can see how well your agents are handling the calls. This isn't going to require the manual digging through call logs that if you're an existing Hatch user today, that you would have seen or experienced in the past, where you're seeing all the calls, but you have to go through each one to really identify what's happening. So now you're going to get that snapshot view, understand very quickly how an agent handled a call, see the impact on your metrics. This is going to allow you to find and fix any conversion gaps faster, which is very important. You'll be able to better understand what your customers need when they call in and how the agents are responding and if they're responding appropriately. And then ultimately, all of these things are going to also help you just improve your reporting accuracy, which is really critical for measuring ROI and just making sure that things are operating the way that you need them to for growth. So as I mentioned before, it was that AI would handle your call. You would see the list of calls and maybe have to sort through if you wanted to dig in a bit more. But now it's quite simple. So somebody calls, the inbound AI agent handles that call, has the conversation. Hatch AI instantly analyzes the call, and then those outcomes are surfaced immediately on the conversations page inside Hatch. So it has really become a much more Simplified and streamlined experience, making it really easy for you to evaluate and ultimately take a look at what's going on and then turn around and optimize performance. So I'm going to hand it over to Brandon, and he's going to transition us into the product and take a look at this live. Brandon?
Great. Thank you, Katie. Are you able to see my screen? There we go. So when you log into Hatch, this is kind of the first view that you're going to have. This is where your CSRs are going to be acting on their sales board. From here, above all of the different workspaces, you can access the conversations page. And this is really where conversational analytics is going to live. And just to level set off the bat, this is a demo environment that we're going to be working from today. This is
I think we may have just lost Brandon. So we'll give him a second to rejoin. Andrew, who's in the back end for us, are we still live?
We're still live. Yeah, he said he's coming back.
All right, thanks. Thanks everybody for bearing with us. And while we're waiting for Brandon to get resituated here, there is the opportunity for you to in the chat surface any questions that you have. And so as we go along and while Brandon's demoing, feel free to put questions in there and I'll be taking a look at that and then we'll pause for questions once he's finished with this initial demo. All right, Brandon, welcome back. Back over to you. You're muted still, Brandon.
awesome. Can you hear me now?
Yes,
there we go.
We can hear you.
Sorry about that. Technical issues over here. It's the demo curse.
No problem. Glad to have you back.
Awesome. So like I said, this is where we're going to be working out of today. This is a demo environment. So this is all fake data we've generated. So, keep that in mind as we kind of go through things. Like I said, this is the conversations page. This is, first of all, the newest page in all of Hatch. Here, what you can see is all the conversations that are or have happened across the platform. That includes text, voice, and across both humans and AI. So full visibility into every conversation across workspaces as well. We've released an early version of this a couple months ago, and since then we've added a lot of new features that we're going to cover today. All of those in pursuit of really helping our clients maximize the visibility and the value that they're getting out of their agents. So the three main categories that we recently shipped, first are these KPI cards up top. Really, these are here just to help put everything into context and provide a quick overview of the performance as you're kind of navigating through the different conversations. Second, we've added a bunch of new filters and search features to help clients find the conversations they care about. We'll dive into these a bit more later, but I know that something really common is that clients want to be able to search by contact, email, name, filter by the outcomes of different calls. So like I said, we'll go into it more, but this has been a really powerful feature. And then most critically, we've also added a lot of new metrics and the ability to filter on them. So I'm going to quickly walk through those since we're going to be working with them today. So first is bookable here. This is really just, was someone that called in, were they a bookable lead? Booked, if that call ultimately ended up in an appointment. Abandoned, which is if the user on the other end of the call hung up before resolving or answering all the questions and booking an appointment. Contained, if the call was ultimately transferred. And satisfaction, just to measure and look for the sentiment of the caller and kind of making sure that nothing went wrong on the call. We also have category here, so we're helping our clients to categorize the calls into what the caller is asking about and what they're trying to accomplish. So all of these new fields that I just walked through, these are actually powered by our new AI analytics platform, which we're continuing to invest more and more resources into. And what that really means is that every voice AI call on Hatch today is being analyzed for these predefined metrics. And the reason we're starting with predefined metrics here is the kind of falls in line with like the philosophy that we have around data at Hatch. So we see data and insights primarily as a tool to just help users go from automation and deployment of our AI agents to real review and iteration on those AI agents. So just like how a call center might be focused on reviewing calls and coaching CSRs, we want to provide similar AI-powered tools to help Hatch clients review and iterate on the AI agents that they've deployed. So all that to say is like the metrics here are not just for data for data's sake. Ultimately, what we were trying to do here is to actually help our clients discover like where they need to put their attention and where there's opportunities for improvement. So just quickly to summarize that in 3 words, I think transparency, visibility, and actionability on every single call. All right, now that we've covered this page and some of the features at a high level and what we've built, let's actually play around, walk you through what some of the workflows clients are actually doing today on the platform. For the simplest example, you might have a name or a phone number in your service tied in for an appointment that was booked. What you can actually do is just apply filters to the range that you care about, and then you can just type in the phone number or the email and actually find all of the calls that happened with that specific person. So here I've typed it by phone number. Maybe I want to look John Smith, and John Smith booked an appointment with us. So from that, on any conversation, you can click on the conversation based on the outcomes and get a summary and access to the recording and transcript of the call as well. You can search the transcript for specific words that you might be interested in, look at the summary, as well as see other extracted information and the metrics that we've analyzed here. On top of that, you can actually also override these just to kind of help maintain the reporting, and that'll update all of the existing and future reporting that we'll have here on Hatch. So that's just important for kind of maintaining that parity. Maybe you want to use this information and push it to service tied and kind of maintain that parity between those systems as well. So now I'm going to go into a deeper workflow and play the role of someone who's just deployed a new agent. So I'm going to cosplay as Brandon, who works at the Hatch Employees Call Center. And we have a few different AI agents deployed here. And so far, it looks like they've had 32 total calls. 6 of those were bookable, but only 3 of those actually led to an actual booking. On top of that, our containment rate is quite low. So clearly, looking at these metrics, something's wrong here, and we should be booking more appointments. There's probably ways that we can improve what the agent is doing. The most obvious set of calls that we might care about are the ones that were bookable and not booked. So I'm going to add those filters to the page. We're going to look for all of the calls that were bookable, and specifically the ones that ultimately did not end up in a booking. So here we can see that 2 of these were transferred, maybe less of a concern for now. But I see this one up here where the person called in to schedule a service and the bot ultimately dispositioned the conversation as discarded. So we know that something went wrong here. So I'm going to click on this call and read the summary, get a kind of overview of what happened here. Looks like the call went on for a reasonable amount of time. So let's actually go in here. I'm not going to make you guys listen to this recording of me calling the AI agent, but scrolling to the bottom of the transcript here, what we can actually see is that it looks like the person calling in was able to actually book an appointment with the agent and agree on a time window for someone to come out. And then just at the finish line, I'm able to see here that the bot wanted to confirm that the user was the homeowner, and because they weren't, ultimately the agent actually ended the conversation, noting that the caller's not the homeowner and that they can't book them due to the policy set. So clearly, it looks like the appointment was nearly booked. This is probably something we could save. So to me, this indicates there might be an opportunity for improvement in how this agent works, how we deploy it. So there's a few options that you can do on Hatch. I'm not going to bring you guys through the details or show you how to do exactly that. The account managers can help, but some of the options that we might have here is to actually set up a campaign to follow up over text with the customer for these lost leads. We could actually change how the bot might handle this situation and give it a better script for when it is not, someone is not the homeowner. Maybe leaving feedback that someone's going to reach back out and try and get in contact with the homeowner. Maybe we want to change the disposition it applies so that someone else who's working on Hatch, a different CSR, can actually capture it on the sales board and follow up with this specific contact just to make sure that they actually follow up on this lead. So that's an example of how we might look through these bookable, not booked calls, looking for those high ROI opportunities and ways to improve the bot. I actually have another quick one from an actual client that I think might be a nice one to look through using a tangible example I've had. So up here, obviously, we can see that our containment rate is really, really low. Like this agent is transferring 80% of all of the calls. So if we're deploying a voice AI agent, we know that what we're really trying to do is also help mitigate the load on the call center. So obviously, room for improvement here. The client I was specifically working with was looking to improve that containment rate and got on a call with them. And using this page, all we did was quickly add this contained column, which is indicates if a call was transferred, and we're looking for specifically the ones that were not contained by the agent. And scrolling through here, we were able to like kind of look at all of the different calls, read the summaries, see what happened in each call. And just looking quickly at this example, what we found was that there was a common thread in that like all of these transferred calls, the agent was starting with some sort of message that says like, if you want to speak to a live agent, I am happy to transfer you. And that really boosted the amount of transfers that were happening. So we made a really simple update to the prompt. The voice AI agent just did not start to say that at the start of the conversation anymore. And ultimately, we were able to boost the containment rate of the bot significantly. And our voice AI agents can do end-to-end bookings, all of that. So no concern for the client, really happy with the outcome there. So those are some of the examples here of how you can use these like AI-powered metrics on qualifying what the call was about, what the outcome was, also using our data on if a call transferred and things like that to actually help you diagnose issues with your voice AI agents and look for improvements. I do also want to say that this page isn't only for these review type workflows. Another thing that clients have started to use it for is to actually stay on top of all of their conversations at scale. Like I said, anyone who has access to this page will be able to see across multiple organizations, across multiple workspaces. In some ways, you can almost treat this as a manager view. And that really works because there's actually two key features here that I haven't quite touched on. At least this first one, which is that this page is updated in real time across the platform. So new conversation starts, new call comes in, it'll pop up here and you'll have access to that. And of course, like I said, visibility across the multiple workspaces. So as a manager, I might specifically monitor for these bookable, not booked calls and kind of see them as they come in and make sure that we're taking immediate steps whenever we lose a lead like that. On the text side, maybe you want to only look for calls that ended in a certain disposition. So for a text conversation, maybe we care about all of the ones that ended in a transfer disposition or maybe the bailout dispositions here just to help us stay on top of these ones where the conversation had something that went wrong, right? So for now, I think that's all I want to cover in this demo. Katie, I think we're going to open it up for some Q&A and then move on to talk about some of the future facing work that we're going to do.
Yes, we do have some questions that are coming in. All right, so Adrian is asking, is this meant to replace the current report section when it comes to AI voice where we can see our custom results of bailout, scheduled, etc.?
So the current report section is more of a daily processed large set of data that you can access in Hatch in the bottom left, as you're familiar with. What this page is more of like a real-time visibility at a more granular level. So not only from these calls can you actually see specifically what's happening, you can actually like link out to the specific contact as well. So the intention here is really to make it more of a real-time connected to the rest of the platform as opposed to those like daily reports that you're probably used to seeing in Hatch.
Okay, Adrian, if there's any follow-up to that, feel free to put it in. Does this AI agent, or let me go back to another one. Riley asked earlier, does Service Titan integration feed this side as well?
So the way it works right now is that we are the ones and on the Hatch side classifying calls as bookable. If you have a Service Titan integration, all of the booked outcomes saying that a call actually led to an appointment is based on whether or not a real service titan appointment was created. So you can kind of treat that a source of truth. It is not configurable inside of the app yet, but you can also work with your account managers or to actually also make sure that we're updating all of the outcomes from here into Service Titan as well. Hopefully that addresses your question.
Yeah, and Adrienne had said thank you. The reason she had asked the other question is that we have custom dispositions that she would love to show up in the UX that we're showing here. All right. And Riley, I think we just answered your question. Bouncing back over to our list here. So a couple of people, Brandon, have been asking and saying they aren't seeing this view. So if you have an inbound voice AI agent handling calls today and live, then you should see this view. You can see that on Brandon's page here at the top, there's a toggle that says text and voice. So you want to make sure it's toggled to voice. That toggle is also relatively new in this view. But if you do have the agent live and you're on the conversations page and it says voice up there, then you should see this view. And if you do not have an voice AI agent handling your inbound calls today, at the end, we're going to surface a link for you to request that an account manager reach out to you for those of you that are asking that question.
And I will add that this view in general with the filters and everything is available to everyone on Hatch. It's just the AI-powered analysis metrics that are only available for the inbound voice today. So some of the other things, that visibility, being able to disposition or filter on dispositions, you should still be able to do inside of Hatch today.
All right. Are there any other questions coming in for Brandon or any other use cases that you would like to see him walk through while we're here live? We'll give everybody 1 second. All right, I don't think we have anything else coming in at the moment, Brandon. So I think we can go ahead and move on and you can share what's coming next.
Awesome. Do you want to pull back up the slides for that part?
Oh,
great.
Hang on, I think we have a question. What if we have someone calling in to check on a current job?
So right now, the way that we've written the prompts is that using AI for that bookable column, someone calling in about an existing job, trying to do appointment confirmation, reschedule, those all are not considered bookable calls. That request category column where we've helped to categorize each call will actually call that out. So it's a follow-up to a previous call. It is an appointment confirmation that they're trying to do. So you can still have that discoverability into it. It just won't be marked as a bookable or a booked in those situations.
And then does it show as a booked? Does it show as booked because it's connected to Service Titan?
Yes.
Okay. All right, great. All right. So Brandon, folks should see on the screen now the what's next.
Awesome. So for a roadmap, the things I've learned in building this and working with some of our clients is that this is really powerful and it just saves so much time. And I think ultimately what we don't want to do is just stop with our voice to AI agents. So for our roadmap, the plan is to expand very similar functionality across all channels in Hatch. So first to human calls, then other AI agents, and then as well as all of the messaging conversations, since Hatch supports all of those different channels. So ultimately, not only will Hatch in all of its conversations be more discoverable and actionable, but I actually really see this more as a data foundation across every one of your conversations. We can use that to power more AI-powered proactive insights, better reporting, and just visibility into everything happening, helping you just monitor and stay on top of every single potential lead, all of the client experience that I know everyone here cares about. Another thing that we're really excited about is extending this to coaching. So first by expanding, like I said, the existing analytics and these metrics to human calls, but then also starting to give clients access to scoring on all the calls, more configurable AI analytics, and more so that you can proactively disposition and categorize both the human and AI calls. This will ultimately help you to build reporting and use AI to turn all of your customer interactions into actual training opportunities and feedback opportunities for the AI agent and your human agents. So this is really where we're focused. Like I had mentioned earlier, we built this AI analytics platform. This was really critical for us when it came to voice AI. But now that we have it and we have the resources to really invest in it, what we want to do is expand and really develop these features so that across the platform, you can make more data-informed decisions every day. So, and very happy to answer any questions you guys might have about that roadmap. Any suggestions, feel free to reach out. Would love to talk to customers who are interested in these kinds of features.
Yes, and on that note, you'll receive, after the call, you're going to receive a recording of the meeting and what you saw today, but we're also going to follow up with just some follow-up communication. We're going to include a link to a Google form where you can feel free to give us feedback on this session, as well as, to Brandon's point, the product itself, knowing what's coming in the future. If you want to drop some requests in there or share with us some specific challenges that you think what he's working on can help you solve, we would love to hear from you. Customers of Hatch are influencing our roadmap constantly, so we really value that kind of input. So we'll create the space for you to give that to us as well afterwards. And for those of you that were asking questions about just how to make sure that you have a voice AI agent live and handling calls for you, you can use the link here. You can use this QR code, and I think we can drop a link. We'll put it here as well. But there are a variety of ways to let us know, and we'll have somebody reach out to you and help make sure that you get that started. All right. If there are no other questions, then we are really ahead of schedule. And so everybody can have 32 minutes back in their day. And we look forward to seeing you next time.
We do have one more, Katie.
Oh, all right. What have we got?
On coaching.
Devin, is the coaching going to be for the AI voice bot? Would this help improve bot interactions by providing feedback prompts to the bot itself?
So I'm assuming, yes, for the call coaching, Devin, I don't want to make promises just yet, but I definitely think that is the vision. We want to make sure we get the human call coaching right. And we're working and planning to work with clients really closely on that. I think once we've nailed that down, the immediate next step is to figure out how we can kind of help generalize the same features, the same insights, and like you're suggesting, finding ways where we can help proactively improve the way the bot interacts.
And I apologize, Riley, I missed a question coming across from Riley earlier. Do tags work in this AI section?
Yeah, so I'm assuming you're referring to service titan tags. Service titan tags do not yet work in this section, but it's definitely something that we're tackling and looking at right now.
All right. Any other questions? Okay. If anything does come up, please throw it in that form when we send it out, and we'll make sure that we get you answers. And again, we would just love to hear your feedback and your input into what we're building here at Hatch. All right. Thank you, everybody, for your time, and we'll see you again soon.
Thank you all.